full of problems. Here I come with the solutions. So the issue we're having here is we don't like this part. It comes down, it ends, this stuff, all this looks good. We're happy with that. You know, bumper goes right here. So what we're trying to do is just make it look more complete. Was the words used to me. So we're just going to kind of, this little flare here, we'll follow it down. We'll try to curve it a little bit and then just let it fade out up here in the front. And I think that would be pretty cool. And it would solve the problem of it just looks not done. So it's going to be a little bit of work. But I think I know a metal shaper. Okay, so here is the problem. What I'm seeing is this line comes down and it curves right here. So when I put my other piece, it's square. So what I'm going to do is pull this corner out, make it more square, and I'll end up bringing this line down and forward. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. What are you doing?
Oh, well, I needed a couple of nuts for my brace, for my balance, and I couldn't find any nuts. So what I did find is this old Mustang door hinge, and guess what? It's a 5/16.
So no need to go to the store.
Nope.
Make your own.
Yep. Better than new. Anyway, here. Look how nice that worked. So the way this works, I'll get it mounted. I'm going to use my fender braces. We don't need them anymore since they're getting bolted to the Valance. So now the fender braces are going to hold my front up, and I'll basically put this on. I'll figure out where it needs to go. I'll tighten this up. Once I get it tightened up, and then I'll come in here, mark my hose, wherever's good spacing, but I'm still hitting on my little piece I made. Drill some hose, tighten it up, weld it, grind it, and voila. It will be simple, just pulling it off. I don't have weld nuts for 5/16. I did have weld nuts for the 3/8 that are holding the sides. So made my own weld nut for my bracket, my brace. So here we go to the install. Install number 81. Look at this. The struggle was real. I sat there and fought it back and forth. I knew something was in there. Was it mine? Nope. Score. Craftsman with a, tell me it's a 10 millimeter. It's an 11 millimeter. Oh man, can't make this up. Okay, so here's the business. This goes back here at the bottom. This slides over here through the hole. Low hole. And this. Yeah, I'm trying to keep my piece parallel with this line because eventually I want it to stay there. Okay, I'm holding my piece back here and I'm making sure that it stays parallel with this because now that it's on, I'll mark my spots where I'm going to drill my hole. Of course, it'll be right next to the hole, not out here. My brace is in the way, so I can't write. But you get the point. From here, I've got my Sharpie. My Sharpie tells me it comes out to here and to here. So I'm going to put a hole there and a hole there. So once I remove this out the way, I'll center up my holes and drill. Reinstall, weld, good to go. So here, let me show you how this came to be. I had drew this before, kind of gave me ideas. I want this to come down and that. So I'm like, okay, I can maybe work with that. I really don't have an idea. I just know that I need it to look a little more complete than what we're looking at now. And now it's just a matter of making it happen. So from there, of course, transferred it to metal, traced it, cut it out. Here's my piece. As you see, I've already been shrinking it because I want it to go round. And we're almost there. I have to figure out from here down, I need it to fold in more. So I'm going to continue shrinking it. And if it doesn't work, well, then I'm just going to cut it. And I'll bring it in. And that'll give me the radius I need to meet up to my bottom. But as far as all of this goes, man, it looks great. So yeah, from here down, from this area down, it needs to fold in some more. So I need to fold. So I'm going to keep shrinking on it and see if I can get it to roll until it touches. Actually quite a bit, so we'll get there. Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this, and as I keep going, I'm going to be seeing how much it's moving. So we match. There it is. And what I'm going to do is just keep doing it and use this so I won't have to be going back and forth. I can just see if I can make it work from here. We've got quite a bit to go. Let's try it. It did move quite a bit, so let's go see what it did. We are pretty much there. I think I'm just going to end up having to cut and just weld a piece because I really need this to go in. So I'm going to do 2 cuts. Maybe I'll do 1 and 1. It doesn't matter where I do them. As long as I get this lip to close, I ain't even can. Turn that round, upside down. The struggle is real. I'm trying to add this piece in here. I've got an idea of what I want it to look like, but I don't know exactly. So I just started kind of like just freestyling it, going with the flow, and now it's just figuring out how to finish it out. I think if I'm going to cut this little piece off, and then I'll extend this around to here. Yeah, there's a lot going on here, so it's just trying to do it right. I'm not going to worry too much. I'm just going to cut. I've made pieces, I've welded them on, I've taken them off. I don't know, just so much. I finally just figured out what I need to do next. Sometimes the solutions don't come fast or quickly or even make sense. But in this case, the more I don't want to, it just makes sense to do it. So I'm going to do it. I'm just going to cut this whole piece off and remake it. That way, I'm just forced to come up with something that looks cool and I can follow the slip off the fender. Maybe we can have it come down. We'll do something. So it gives me a second chance to make this right. Because honestly, I did not like how this was in and this didn't match up. But when the bumper was on, the bumper comes out to here, you really don't see that detail, you know? So yeah, I say we cut. I say we cut, make it interesting. It's going to set me back on time a little bit, but body work, I'm hoping it's not going to take that long. I'm going to beat these dents out the way I did this one. I beat it out. I have a little bit more to go. You see that little edge? I'll beat it out. I'll beat that out. I'll beat that out the best I can. I might have to cut that and maybe even remake it. It's got a little tear there. I should be able to fix it. Cut it or not, whatever. Make sure I can see. Okay. I'm getting down here so I can see what I'm doing. I want to cut a straight line and make sure I don't mess it up. Let's see. There we go. There we go. I can see and I can see. Here it is. This we call redemption. Look at that. Got my cloth on again, all dramatic. Ready? Wrench, wrench, wrench. Oh. There it is. Redemption. Here it is. Now this piece has been taken off. So what I want to do is basically build something that's going to stick out a little more. Fill in this gap. So this already gives me ideas. Just looking at this, I was attempting to pull the wheel off, but we don't have the key for the lock. So I haven't had time to look at my sockets and see if I have a sacrificial socket that I can use to pull it off. So we'll get into that later. I think we've got something to work with. Ooh, I just cut myself. I did. Real quick, let me show you what I don't like about this. This body line comes down here straight, looks really good. The detail in the curve, of course, it gets less at the bottom. This line comes down, and about right here, it looks like it nosedives to the inside. So what we want to do, what I'm going to do, is going to cut it straight up, straighten out this lip, and just recap it. So we'll make this square, so when we make our piece, we'll be able to match up the squareness to whatever we're doing here. And just taking it off, I've already got 3-4 ideas that I think are going to look great. So I'm going to make this more pronounced. Once I get that where I like it, we'll go with this. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm standing back so I can make sure that this line looks good, and it does, of course. So now I will continue to weld. Here's my piece that's on so far. I think next, I like this about right here. This will be all even. So I've marked my line and get my square so I can line it up straight. Let me clean this up a little bit. Let me shave this a little bit. That's what it is. I'll mark it, bring it in about, I don't know, I'm gonna say about 1/4 of an inch. Well, let's say 3/8. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh man, I love that. Okay, my intent for this up here is to just let it fade out. So what I'm going to do is going to cut it here, and then I'll come down, maybe right here, I'll round it all the way down. My pin's dry, so it's trash. So yeah, we'll cut it a little further and just try to make this front disappear. I think that'd be the way to go. Okay, let's see. Follow along. I'm going to try to keep up because there's a couple ways of doing it. I don't know at this point. I'll figure something out. I split it. Basically, I just want to fade this out. I'm going to cut a little bit further back, a little bit more. That way I can make this transition not as pronounced. I want it to slowly fade back. So the more subtle I want the fade, the further back cut on this, which means more welding, but you know, it's what we do. Try that one more again. Oh, there's a nice see how they all let you know. Right there. Always use the velvets. Okay, here's my pieces, my templates. I made one side already, and I was just trying to see if it would work, and it worked pretty good. So now I'm going to try to make it again. I used to think the second one was always better than the first one, right? Because you got practice, but it's actually the second one is harder than the first one because you're trying to match it. So with that being said, my templates should help me. See right here, I added, it's supposed to be 2 inches, but that's close enough. And then here, this is my fold where I need to be, and my top piece will come this way. It's already coming out, so it'll go like so, and then we'll go from there. But it's definitely not easy. I'm gonna cut this one out, trim it out. Before I bend this piece here, I'm going to cut my corner off. Cut my corner off the Valance. So okay, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to mark it with my square. Kind of meet this line with that line. Looks pretty straight to me. I want to mark. Oh, perfect. Now to cut. Now that this is uncut, I'm going this so fast. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is take my piece that I've cut out already. Once I'm pretty happy with it, then I want to mark my hose. And there we go. I'm going to do this like that side where you have the bolts in from the bottom up. I had it going from the top down, but that was a little too easy. So Here we go. We'll start with that. You drill me some holes. All right. Here we are. The drill. Now, I learned from the first one I made. I drilled the 2 holes. It was great. It was on my last one. It caught. It spun around. It hurt. But now I've tightened it up with the vise. Not too much because I don't want to ruin my piece. And I will drill my holes. Now you see I did mild grinding. So now I'm going to bring my piece to the truck. This will sit here. So this will be my top. I'll write it down so I don't forget. And it's also the right side, because the right side is the passenger side. And I've already made the other side, and I didn't really record much of it because I wanted to see if I was going to like it after I made it. And I did. So now I'm trying to repeat what I just did. So it's a start. I'm trying to remember how this all goes together. Here's my top. This has to go here. Wow. This is rounded off. So this part was my lip, so I'm going to cut it off. Okay, now the idea is to bend this right here. So we shall try. So what I need is a 90. And it needs to be rolled. So what I'm gonna do is put this line centered. Looks good to you, looks good to me. And here we go. And what we want to do is just bend until we have a 90. There it is. Very nice. I think it's wrong. So here's the deal. I can't remember how I made the first one, so I'm just going to make it to match whatever I got going on. Mark it. Now I will cut. Here's my cut. So now, with this cut, what I'm going to do is bend the 90 in this right here. And then once I bend my 90 in it, this will be my topper for this. Okay. Here's the piece that I'm going to fold. So I will slice these. I think they're 1 inch apart, and then we'll figure out the business. So let me cut these. I'll put my eye protection on, and then quick slice.